Robert Whittaker has stepped in to defend Khamzat Chimaev and Islam Makhachev after both caught backlash for what fans called underwhelming title-winning performances. Even though Islam and Khamzat dominated their championship fights from start to finish, the lack of a stoppage led a lot of the MMA community to call their wins boring. On the latest episode of his podcast, Whittaker pushed back hard on that narrative. He said, "People have no idea how impressive it actually is to dominate another world-class fighter like that for almost 25 minutes. When you're fighting champions or elite contenders at the very top, shutting them down everywhere is insanely difficult, and doing it in back-to-back rounds is even crazier." Rob highlighted that fans often overlook how high the level is and how rare that kind of control truly is. As for what's next, Chimaev is expected to return sometime after April of 2026 in a massive middleweight clash with Nassourdine Imavov. Islam Makhachev, now the first Russian 2-division champion, is waiting on his next move. It will either be Ilia Topuria or one of the top welterweight contenders like Ian Garry or Kamaru Usman, depending on how the division shakes out.
I don't mind seeing that in a championship fight because you don't see that at championship fights. Like, the ability to hold someone down at champion level, especially like the champion. If you go in there like Chimaev did, like Islam did, and hold the champion down for 20 odd minutes, for 23 odd minutes, that is so rare. You don't see that. UFC hasn't seen that really across its history. It is wild. It's also cool seeing the bubble. You know, we're in a bubble period and I'm waiting for it to pop. And it is the highest level grappling. Like, you can go back and watch those as a tutorial, bro. They're like, look at the small details. It's crazy. And you know what I find funny, bro? Like, the people that go like, what are we going to do in the street to hold a guy down? Like, how you going to... Bro, if you're in a street fight and some dude hops on top of you and humps your head for 25 minutes, bro, you lost.
In a new interview with Russian outlet Whittaker, Islam Makhachev opened up about the possible move back down to lightweight, a super fight with Ilia Topuria, and who he believes is actually in line for his next welterweight title defense. Islam made it clear that a fight with Topuria at 155 is not happening unless the UFC puts a major offer on the table. He said he is not a young fighter anymore, every cut takes a toll on his health, and getting down to lightweight is nothing like it used to be. For him to drain himself again, the UFC would need to give him something huge. Otherwise, he is staying at 170. When asked about his next opponent at welterweight, Islam said the picture is finally starting to clear up. According to him, there are 3 or 4 real contenders, and within the next 2 weeks, he expects the UFC to decide who gets the shot. He also reacted to Ian Garry's performance at UFC Qatar. Islam said Garry did not surprise him, but if Garry surprised the UFC, then the UFC might choose him next. He then addressed Shavkat Rakhmonov. Islam pointed out that Shavkat has been out for more than a year, saying it is hard to justify giving a title shot to someone who's been sitting out for that long due to injuries. But at the end of the day, if he recovers and the UFC picks him, Islam has no problem taking that fight either.
Islam, если UFC тебя попросят провести бой с Ильей Топурией в 70 килограмм, согласишься или теперь только 77?
70, я думаю, это должно быть слишком хорошее предложение, чтобы я опять начал вес гонять 70 килограмм, так как я уже не молодой тоже в этом виде спорта, и каждая весогонка забирает тоже годы здоровья, и уже не так легко, как раньше вес гонять.
Khamzat Chimaev stole all the headlines after his heated run-in with Ian Garry at the Fighter Hotel. What started as something that looked friendly on camera turned into a legit physical altercation within seconds. Here's what actually happened. Ian walked up to Khamzat and grabbed him by the back, trying to greet him in a playful, friendly way, but the touch was way more physical than it needed to be. The undefeated Chechen didn't like it, and as Garry walked away, Chimaev slapped him on the back, also in a friendly but clearly aggressive way. Ian turned around, they exchanged words, and Khamzat pushed him, telling him he'd F him up. Security moved in immediately and separated them before it escalated further. Dana White finally broke his silence on the situation and said UFC staff and matchmakers are getting tired of these hotel hallway incidents. It keeps happening card after card, with Khamzat being the center of attention way too many times. Dana also hinted that something else happened backstage that the public doesn't know about yet. Garry is coming off a huge win over Belal Muhammad and is using every interview to call out Islam Makhachev. He is riding a 2-fight win streak over Prates and now Belal, and he feels fully justified in pushing for a title shot. Now let's hear Dana's comments on the situation.
They had that run-in at the hotel.
There was so much bad shit that happened in the behind the scenes with that thing, and yeah, not good. Yeah, the matchmakers aren't big fans of his for many different reasons. And
I don't know. I don't even know how, we stopped it, but we didn't do a good job of not letting it happen.
Max Holloway finally explained why he isn't jumping on the hype train for the historic White House event that every fighter seems to be begging to be part of. While the idea is massive and the spotlight would be insane, Max pointed out the one thing that matters most to him: his family. Since the event will only allow around 5,000 people in attendance, Holloway said his family wouldn't even be able to get seats. That's a deal breaker for him emotionally. He said he would still fight there if the UFC asked, because it's a huge moment for the sport, but he made it clear he's not losing his mind over it like everyone else. For him, family comes first. Max is fresh off that huge win over Dustin Poirier, and he's already targeting the rematch with Charles Oliveira. If that fight happens, the winner gets pushed right back toward a lightweight title shot. Meanwhile, on the champion's side, things are getting interesting. A matchup between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan is suddenly way more realistic than it was just a few weeks ago. Arman just picked up another win, and if Ilia returns in February, like many expect, fans are already calling Arman the clear number one contender for Ilia's belt. The timing lines up perfectly. Alright, let's hear what Max had to say.
There's no American champion. I mean, the only American champion there is the BMF title, so you're looking at the man. So, am I going to be at the card? I like my odds of being on it, but I don't know too much. I really wanted to be on it because I heard that's only going to have like 5,000 people on the lawn. The 5,000 people, I don't know if my family would be able to have seats there. So at the end of the day, it kind of sucked not having your family members there, especially when I worked my way up so high in the UFC to where I'm so used to having them in like really close ringside and stuff, and them just being there. So the odds of me being in there is probably high, like I said, because there's no UFC American that's a champion, but me with the BMF title. So we'll see what happens. First things first, just get you this injury, and hopefully I can get a fight early in the year, like around March, April, or if they hold me, it's just so long. I fought Poirier in June, and the card is going to be in June, so that'd be a long wait for me.
What did you think of Arman Tsarukyan's win over Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar? Do you see him as ready to challenge El Matador for the belt? And how did you feel about Ian Garry's victory over Bilal Muhammad, a fight that shook up the welterweight title picture? Do you want to see Garry versus Islam Makhachev? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know where you stand. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.